Well, here we are. Never really could do that corner quite well enough, so I just gave up and done expansion foam. Still got a couple of little holes. Put a bit in there and another little bit in there. But yeah, that there is basically we're in the final stage. Unfortunately, this little bugger here was so wet that I got this poured in one day, made up all the formwork, poured this side in one day, and then I went to touch this and it was still wet, and I thought, you bastard. So I had to leave that one and do that one yesterday. So it was sort of day one, day two, but I done all the formwork in one hit. And yeah. Ooh, that's all starting to set. That's got a bit of an excess of concrete in it because, well, I was running out of mortar mix and I put too much water in, so I dosed it up with concrete, and it always makes it pretty hard. But yeah, idea here. Concrete won't stick to polyethylene, and these bags are low density polyethylene, so that sort of gives me one plate and a second plate. Just the way the formwork ended up going, with sort of one piece and another piece, it's sort of, that's lower than that. Here's the chimney. Here's bricks that are just in the ground no matter what you do. Part of the old ones that all collapsed, I believe. And they're just sort of, yeah, gone under the soil a bit. I had to get a few of those out to get me post in without hitting another brick. And this post has got a fair way to go still, but this is a chimney. I sort of set it in, just sat it in there, and it sort of lines up to this, but this has got to come down, like down here somewhere, basically almost the height of the buttons on my shirt. And this one here will screw through a hole here that I probably got to drill with a cordless drill. That's adjustable clamp. I might have to slide that down a bit. And that one there, that's also adjustable. One of those is barely even bloody on, so I've got to tighten all that. That's a bit of hammered out pipe. But I've got to try and make that so that's, you know, covering the top of it in a not too unrealistic fashion, not too unrealistic angle. So yeah, we're basically in the final throes of it. I've got to work out angles and stuff. I've got this fancy Japanese thing. It's like a level with a spinning wheel in the middle that you can turn with this little lemon knob that you spin with your thumb, and it'll tell me the exact angles that I've got to do to make a framework to go over this. So we're going to have probably one here and one here at the front into this timber either side there, that's going to come down and going to be put into a hole here and a hole here that I'm going to pour concrete into. Basically a steel frame of two parts, so I can put a sheet of corrugated iron over the top and one on the side, just to keep the water out from all this. And I want it so I can, you know, it's not too hard to get into taking a few screws off, because I'm sure some bloody mouse will work out they can make a nest in here and it's nice and warm. I'm sure it's going to happen. So yeah, but all the same, just this being vermiculite, I swear it'll soak in water when it rains, so I've got to have something to cover it. But I am fairly chuffed that I got the whole lot of this all covered, because quite honestly, sticking this on is like trying to trowel on bloody polystyrene balls. It is the most heap of shit stuff to work with because of the sponginess of the vermiculite. It's an absolute mongrel. Note in the front here, I originally had mortar, and you can see there's a little bit of it there still. And I was worried about the heat bleeding out on this mortar that I stuck on the top of the perlite. And I only stuck it on top of the perlite to stop all the cypress pine leaves getting in between the perlite, because it looked like a, well, it looked like that. And I was worried it was going to get all dust and shit in there. So I put mortar over, then to realise it's going to flip and bleed heat out of this mortar because it's not covered in vermiculite mix, and I'm running out of vermiculite mix. Turns out I've actually got a little bit left now. Got a little bit of vermiculite spare. Really didn't expect that to happen. But yeah, concreted that last night in between the old bit of footpath or whatever the hell it was that's been here for years and the main one, but you can sort of see the perlite as I've chiselled the top off. Probably still put a little bit of mix around just this bit here because I believe that's exposed as well. I just noticed there's a little bit of brick there that's exposed too. But yeah, and also this little bit here, but I might take that off and do that at a later point once this lid's off. Just little bits and pieces that are almost not even worth worrying about. So yeah, I cut this up a little bit higher. I've still got to do that brick that goes through to hold the fire brick, but see all the way all this works. It's him in there. Got to get a bit of wire brush and get that paper towel off the side there. Good idea at the time, and now it's stuck to it. But yeah, this all sort of seats in fairly well. Yeah, as I said, the whole lot will be covered in, corrugated iron. Boom, one sheet, boom, another sheet. With a hole cut out for the chimney, which is literally just going to come out of there on that angle. And it's going to end up here. I'm still going to have walkway to get through there. I went and cut all this with a hedge trimmer. And woohoo, if we don't have at least 3 foot to walk through now. So today I'm going to start burning a bit of it. I've been doing it bit by bit in the wood heater and it's bloody tedious. So I'm going to fire up the old, what's his name, the other wood heater thing that I used to burn sticks in, and burn all this. And while I'm on the subject, I've got a whole heap of box thorns that I've, just little tiddlers that I've sprayed and killed off, all underneath these pine trees. Not the bigger ones like this, but just the little sod ones that are only like as thick as your thumb. There's quite a lot of them, I realise, that have all actually died from the spray. And I think I'd done that like more than a year ago. So I forgot I'd even really done it until I saw them all today. So I'll probably feed those in as well. I believe we have another plum tree coming up too. It would be a self-seeded one down there. From these are fantastic, these plum. I managed to get a few of these this year. A little bit early, not 100% ripe. And I've chucked them in the freezer and frozen them. So I've just about got the old hot water system out here. I had to cut the guts out of it to get the sand out from the experiment. But I've got the firebox off. I've got the legs off. Cut off with a reciprocating saw. And the next thing to do is remove all the bricks. There's just bricks everywhere. And there's even bricks around the other side near the veranda. And I really got to start establishing, where this is all going. And the chances are I'm going to get a lot of these bricks that are good bricks and put them in one pile, and the rubbishy bricks put them in another, but they're probably all going to go against the border fence. So I'm not looking at the bloody things all the time. Yeah. So anyway, that's that. I'm going to have to leave that for about a week to set properly, I reckon. I just hope to hell it doesn't crack through all the join parts, because I'm going to be bloody pissed, and it might be staying like that and I'll just have to put it back as several parts, because this is something where, quite honestly, it'll be lucky 2 years at a time that I'm even going to take this off. And quite frankly, if I can get that corner off, I can completely clear all the flue out without any other interference, without even needing to lift this lid at all. So if it does break up, well, stiff shit, it'll be staying like that. So yeah, it's we're in the final throes now, and yeah, it might be literally next week when this has had enough time to set that I'll lift it off, vacuum it out, pour the sand into these boxes, and fire the damn thing up with no cover on, no nothing, just to see if it works. And I might even work out if I can get the little slither that I cut off and stuff it back in there, or put a bit of wood or something there. And actually take the other side off and try and use it for one night to see how we go. But I'm going to have to stuff that gap full. So I might just try it during the day, light it early in the morning, and then take the cover off later at night and see how, or not take the cover off, just put my hand on the other side and see how well it's held the heat and how long it's held it. But yeah,